Okay. But anyway, what's on your mind, kid?
This is my brother Eric. Over the years, a lot has happened to this guy. A lot bordering on the ridiculous. And everyone in my family knows this, because he would constantly tell us these stories about his misadventures. A lot of times, we'd be in them. Now, it's hard to determine exactly what's true and what's not. And we aren't mainly going on the word of a somewhat unreliable narrator. No, there's no explosions or fights with bad guys or feats of strength happening in any of these stories. Eric is more like a sitcom star than he is an action hero. These days, most of the stories he's told have been retired. But I've been able to convince him to dust off these old tales and share them with us on this podcast.
Do I need to hit record or anything?
No, I'm already recording. These are the stories my brother used to tell. Today's story, Buy Here, Pay Here. If you've listened to our previous episodes, you may have noticed that our hero has seemingly been desperate to own or even just drive a car. But by the time of today's story, he's already achieved that American dream of owning one. At this point in his life, he has recently purchased his first car. Well, his first legal car.
I have bought my second car, right? But as far as anybody knows, really, as far as anybody in the... officially it's my first car, which is the Challenger. And I have gone on my own onto a Buy Here, Pay Here car lot. And I think it was because I saw that car. And if you remember it was this really cool metallic blue, it was a sporty looking car. It was a 1978 Challenger. And I think I went in, it said something like, "Hey, are you an idiot? Come on in here and we'll get you straightened out." And so I was like, that sounds great because I don't have a clue about what I'm doing. So I wander in there and I honestly have no idea about how this works. But they said something that lured me in. And since I'm fully in the mindset of doing everything on my own with little or no knowledge or experience. That's how I'm doing everything in life at this point. This is perfect. I can just go in there with my wit and charm and make it happen. And I think it was just like a bunch of questions, really. It was like...
So you got a job?
I was like, yeah, I got a job. I've had a job for 4 years.
Oh, 4 years. How much money do you make?
I can't remember what I was making, but it was way enough, when they were telling me the car payments. I think the car payments were like $50 a week. And you had to come in there every week and give him the money. That's the whole Buy Here, Pay Here. It wasn't a monthly payment. It was a weekly payment.
When do you get paid?
Fridays.
Okay. So you come in here on Saturday and you make the payment.
Okay. Obviously there was a lot more to it, but that's exactly how it feels like.
All right, go ahead, take your car.
And then I was gone with my car. It went so easily for me. And I had never expected that, but I felt like, wow, what a man I am. They obviously were so impressed with me and my credentials that I just was able to just sort of saunter in there and walk out with the coolest car in the joint, which is a 9-year-old, 118,000 mile, 78 Dodge Challenger.
Okay, so just a couple of questions. One, how old are you when this happens?
I am 18 years old.
Okay, so it's 1987?
It's 1987, and I think I've just turned 18.
Okay.
Because this is when, Joe D had given me the great influential ultimatum.
Eric had a major life-changing decision to make. Go to college or join the workforce.
I was already expressing that I did not want to go to college. And so he thought that this would turn the tide. He was like, all right, well, then you're going to have to pay rent. And I was like, how much? All right, well, how much is rent? Now, I had already been paying a portion of my check. I've been paying for, 4 years. I've been paying 25% and at times 50% of my paycheck. I would come home and I would give it to the old man. And he would stick out his hand and he would say, Saka. I'd walk in the door on payday. I'd walk in the door. At the door, like I can't even get 2 feet in. He's standing there at the door, the hand out, and saying "Saka," and doing the little motion with the hand.
This was my father thinking he was being funny when he really wasn't. He would say "saca" in Spanish, which means, like, take it out, but the way he intended it was more like give.
I don't even think of the first 63 times I knew what "Saka" meant, but obviously it has something to do with he wants the money, right? And worst would be that this is a day, it's always Friday, so I've worked 12 hours, I'm just getting home. Most of the time I hadn't even cashed the check, right? And so, I mean, yeah, you couldn't, if a real adult had this happen, the other person would get punched in the face. That's what would happen. Right? There's no accepting of this. But there he is. So now he's all right, fine. I've given you 25. What's rent? And so he tells me that rent is $125 a week. $125 a week. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. So at the time, now I recall, I was making, because I'd been in school, so I was making something like $5.50 an hour, which at the time was really put me in my own social strata. I was like a Rockefeller making $5.50 an hour, because minimum wage was $3.35 or $3.65 maybe by then. So I was the first person I knew, but again, I only know people that are, somewhere between 15 and 19, right? But I was the first person I knew that was making $4 an hour. That was like, whoa, I made it to the next thing. All right. So at this point, I'm making $5.50. And so after taxes, I'm working like 39 hours. So I'm making like $180 a week. That's what I'm bringing home. Now he's telling me rent is $125. And I'm bringing home $180, right? So I'd say it almost works on me, where I'm thinking, whoa, I don't know. Maybe college is the right thing to do here, son of a bitch. What am I going to do with $55 a week? That's no life for me. So I sit and I ponder, kind of like Will Smith in Men in Black, when they give him they break it down for him. Now go decide if you want to be. That's exactly what happens. I'm out on the park bench, you see the time, and I'm thinking it over. $55, a week. I gotta go to the movies. I gotta buy Levi's every week now. I need Nikes. It's not gonna work. Okay. All right. So this means I'm gonna have to get a new job. That's all there is to it. So I go out into the world and I decide I need to make, in order to sustain my, current lifestyle, I need to make $300 a week. From 180 to 300. And so I set out to do that. And again, it comes super easy, right? I go on like maybe 2 interviews. They're all pizza jobs. And the first one the second one I think I go to, they offer me $325 a week cash. Under the table cash. Here's your money. Up till now, I've been on the books. I'm working for the man. I'm working in the establishment. But now they make this offer to me, which is I have zero understanding of. I just know I get all my money. The whole $325 comes to me in my chubby little fingers. So now I confidently go back to the old man and I say, Dad, I want you to know I've decided I'm not going to college, because now I'm rich. $325 a week. So now I give him, his paltry $125, and I have $200 left over. So now is when I seek out the whole car situation, and all they want is like $50. So I'm like, I'm golden. This is fantastic. And obviously it's because I walked in there with, again, such credentials. Whoa, this is a man who can make $325 in a single week. Give him his choice of cars. Let him take anything he wants. So I take the 78 metallic blue Dodge Challenger. Based on all of that, I'm like 3 inches taller now, walking around the world. And I have a girlfriend at the time, and she also does not have a car. She's still in school. But now that I'm going to be working, now I guess I didn't throw this in. The job now, I go from working 40 hours a week, 39 to 40. This new job for your 325 a week is 56 hours. Set schedule, 6 days, right? And I don't remember exactly what the hours were now, but it was the same. It was like, Friday, you're going to work 12 to 11 or something like that. And then the other days it's 12 to 9, whatever it was, it came out to 56 hours, right? I'm actually thinking, I think it turns out I was making less money per hour than I was making before, but it didn't feel like that because I'm making $325 a week. My life has changed. What's fantastic is that at the time, as we probably all know, you have boundless amounts of energy. So it was just the amount of time. It wasn't like this is wearing me out. It was just there's only so much time left now because of I'm devoting it to this. But up till then, I was going to school full time and working 40 hours a week. So still, it's pretty comparable. It's not like I'm really lost that much time. Anyway, there's my wonderful girlfriend. And because of my schedule now, I'm not able to be there to pick her up. I want to take her to school, stuff, that sort of stuff. So it'd be nice if she could get her own car. We're having this conversation and it just sort of occurs to me. Well, hey, I went in there and I got the first car. I just went in and I got it. It really was no problem at all. I wouldn't be surprised if I asked for 2, if maybe they would just give me 2, it was so easy for the first one. Why wouldn't I get 2? This time, if I go in, I'll tell them even like, hey, look, I want you to know, I'm going to work really hard. Okay. So now I'm, before it was no big deal. This time I want you to know I'm really committed. So if you give me 2, okay. Again, I saunter back in there and I kind of, hey, I need to, I know I'm the guy who bought a car 3 weeks ago. I bought a car. I've given you a whole $150. I just what I was thinking is, guys, now, I'm not as picky on this one, but I really could use a second one, so I don't know, maybe that's what, $100 a week, or you want to bundle it and make it like, 2 for $85, whatever. I don't know how you guys do this. Okay. I don't know all the particulars. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you want to bring in the number cruncher on this one, fellas, but I'm thinking something not as sporty, a little more practical. Okay. Why don't you guys go ahead and take care of that? So they literally, I honestly, I think I'm glad, I'm lucky I get out with the original deal that I got. They were, just hysterically laughing, get out. You're a complete moron. So I'm a little dejected about that fact. But then it occurs to me that, you know what? They're not the only buy here, pay here joint in the land. This is 1987. Okay. You get things done based on, being good looking. That's how you did stuff, right? How do I know I don't go into some other joint and get one over there? Why don't I just do that? And I remember talking to my girlfriend. It's like, it's late because, I work late on the weekend. So it's a Friday night and we're having this conversation. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? There's several places. So maybe I'll just go in. I think I'm going to take care of this, honey. I think I got this figured out. So I take her home. And here it is like 11:30 at night on a Friday. And I start sort of cruising the areas that have the buy here, pay here lots, right? Because unfortunately, tomorrow being Saturday, it's another 11 to 11 day for me or something like that. So I'm just trying to work it out. When am I even going to have time to get into a place? So I think, let me do my homework. Okay. I'm going to find a place tonight and I'm going to, browse the inventory. And this way, maybe I could even make a phone call. Okay. And be like, I don't know if you know, I'm Eric Delgado. I'm the one working I make $325 a week now. I really like the purple one. That's my sort of plan. So I find a place not far from the house, and it's a very typical, and it's again, yeah, hey, is this the only kind of loan you can get? 9,000% APR? Come on in and pay $50 a week forever. And these are the places. So you're not gonna find them out, in the nice suburban areas. But anyway, they got the cars just sort of all thrown onto the lot. They're all facing out in every direction, no matter what spot you're in. And it's a tiny little hut is where you go make the deal. And they all look the same. They got a bunch of, the flags and the banners. I get out of, I pull up to this one and I park my car not on the lot. I think that it was closed or something, like maybe there was, a chain or something that I gave no heed to, but I couldn't get my car through. So I parked like on the swale, and I, pushed my way in, and I start wandering around the lot. And my plan is to pick out a car or two that I think, of course, my girlfriend has given me very little input, but I think I'm going to be able to pick out her next car and again, make this deal. And then the two of us will be zooming around with, buy here, pay here's, no problem. So it starts to rain, but I take no heed, and I'm acting like I've got permission to be there, right? And so that's to say that I'm going up to the cars, I'm sticking my head, up into the windshield, I'm looking inside and, literally kicking tires, everything that I think that I know should be done. And every now and then I'll come across a car that they didn't lock. So, all the better. So open the door, get in the car. Now I can see the mileage. I can see what kind of radio it has. Because one thing about that Challenger, which mortified me upon learning it, and it was well after I had bought the car, and that was that the entertainment system in the vehicle was an 8-track player. We're already doing CDs, okay, at the time. And I don't even know what this thing is, to be honest with you. It's so big and fat, like what the crap, what is the VHS going here? What is this thing, And it turns out that it's, for 8-track tapes, I actually bought a converter. This 14-pound behemoth that actually looks kind of like a VCR, right? You plug this thing in, and it's got like an 8-track cartridge, right? That plugs in, right? And that's your receiver to this unit, right? And then you put this good luck on where you're going to put it. If nobody's in the car, it goes into the passenger seat, and you just flop it there, right? Now you take your cassettes, you put it into that thing, and then it plays like through the system. Yeah, so this sucked bad, right? Cost me like $99. And so now, all right, fool me once, okay? 8 tracks, because I'm not doing that anymore. Now I have my chances. I'm going in the cars. I'm looking. I need to see little cassette slots. Damn it. So, I'm messing around, and now this is great. I'm getting all kinds of intel. I'm learning way more than I did the first time, because all I did was say, I want the blue one the first time around. So again, I'm doing my homework, okay? And I'm not completely in the car. I've got one leg out of the car, right? Like I'm not sort of sitting just one leg and doing my thing, pop back out. Now you can tell if it's a stick shift, which I don't think she could drive at the time. So again, I'm getting all this really good information, and I've probably done this to like half a dozen cars already. I've seen almost the whole lot, right? I've gone all the way around. I probably looked at 75 cars, probably been inside 6 or 7 of the cars. And so I'm really comfortable. It's now 12:30, it's way past midnight. There's nobody around. And so again, now I'm in this one. It's like a little Ford Escort or something. And I'm really focused on the radio, and I don't hear anything But when I turn around, like I'm getting ready to, maybe get out of the car, 3 inches from my face is a pistol. A gun is in my face. And that's all I can see. It's the biggest gun I've ever seen. It's so unexpected. All I can say over and over, maybe 36 times, all I say is, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I can't stop saying holy shit. I can't make myself stop saying it. I can't see who it is that's holding the gun. I don't know any, and then after the 36th holy shit, I realized that the person with the gun is also screaming at me to put my hands up. Now, I'm pretty sure they're sort of up, but I don't know. I'm just having this absolute meltdown moment. He's telling me,
get out of the car, put your hands up, step out of the car, turn around.
And I'm still holy shitting, right? It's a plainclothes cop. I have no idea I don't know that it's a cop, right? But he's telling me to do the cop-like stuff. So I am obliging, and I mean, honestly, I do not know how I did not evacuate myself. I really don't. I've never been this scared in my life. I couldn't believe how scared that I could get this scared. So again, he's slapping me around, shoving me around, folding me over on the car. And now like 6 more guys come, right? And they've all got, it's obvious, they're all armed and terrifying, but it starts to dawn on me that they're cops, right? And after a while, I think, now that I think back, I think they were saying Broward County Sheriff's Office. So he's asking me for where my wallet,
where's your identification,
right? And I had forgotten that at the time I had this like a wrist wallet.
It was a Velcro wallet that wrapped around your wrist. Eric would wear it while jogging.
And so this was, it was like, again, super innovative, right? So I would wear this on my ankle a lot of the time too, right? Because I didn't like I hadn't adjusted to the wallet, enormous thing in your ass kind of thing. So I had it there, right on my ankle. And this guy's patting me down and he's like,
where's your identification? You got to have identification. What do you got? Show me your identification.
And I'm screaming like I'm Rodney King. You took it. I don't know. You guys took it. I had it. What did you do? I don't know. And I'm slammed up against the car. I'm accusing them of stealing my wallet. They're like, what are you talking about? They're frisking me, right? And then the cop feels it. And he's like, what's this? And he rips it off. He shoves it in my face. Like I was trying to get away with something. I'm like, I don't know who put that there. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know why I'm saying it. Like, this is a setup. You guys set me up here. I don't even know what's going on. I was just trying to look at the thing. He said,
you were trying to steal the radio.
I was trying to steal the radio. What are you talking about? No, I'm a high-end car buyer. What are you saying? I'm car shopping. Don't you get it? Wasn't it so obvious? And then they're explaining it to, I guess to each other.
Yeah, this is the one, right? He looked in like 6 different cars, okay? He's messing around. He's trying to steal radios. I'm like,
what kind of, no, this is wrong. I just bought a car and I decided, no, let me explain, guys. This is going to make so much sense right now. I just bought a car, okay? Like 3 weeks ago, and I decided I was going to buy another car for my girlfriend. So I was out car shopping on Friday night at 12:30 in the rain and poking my head into cars. Doesn't that make sense?
Wait, you're trying to buy a second car? Well, what was the first car?
I'm like, it's right over there.
Well, who sold it to you?
Oh, well, I didn't buy it here. Duh, I didn't buy it here.
Oh, you didn't buy it here. But now you're trying to buy another car. Why didn't you buy it at the same place? What happened? You have a problem with the guy at the other place? Is that what the problem was? Or maybe you're upset at these guys because they didn't sell you a car the first time?
These are the dumbest theories. This is not right at all. What are you talking about? I know exactly what happened. So again, I'm making my case. They're not believing any of it. Like, you really thought I was stealing radios? Come on, man. I could have, if I wanted to steal a radio, come on. You think I'm going to steal a radio from this 1974 Ford Escort? How dare you? Go look at my car. I have a 1978 Dodge Challenger, okay? With a cassette transfer 8-track hookup. So after a while, I think it dawns on them, not that my story is legit, but my sincerity is too hilarious to not be real. I think that's what happens. They're just letting me go on and sounding like a bigger idiot the whole time. They're like,
He has to be telling the truth. It sounds ridiculous that he could possibly think that this was a good plan. But I think this moron here is telling the truth. I think he's that quality of an idiot that this must have been what went through his brain. And he really was trying to, do what he was saying.
they run my information and they find my ID from my wallet, and we all decide that I wasn't being set up or framed or anything like that. And I guess I get comfortable enough, and I'm like, what the hell are you guys even doing here? I don't get, this was the greatest overplay show of force that I've ever seen for a guy. I watched Starsky and Hutch. There was never 6 guys showing up with guns when somebody's trying to steal a radio. They tell me,
Well, we're actually here on a little stakeout operation because, there's been a series of thefts here in the area. And so we're looking for guys just like you who are poking their heads into cars.
that's amazing. Wow. And you guys thought you nabbed him. You thought it was me. So then I was like, well, wow, where did you guys even come from? I can tell they've already decided that they're going to let me go, right? So now, my blood pressure drops under 3,000 and I'm able to, be a little bit conversational. So I'm like, yeah, how did you, you were right here, okay? The gun was, I just turned and there was the gun. Where did you come from?
Oh, we're good. We got ourselves a little hide over there.
And they point over there. I'm like, oh my God, I walked by there 6 times. Like,
Yeah, we saw you walking by, strolling through here, you singing in the rain and having a good old time. And we were like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? When is he going to do something? We were watching you for 46 minutes.
I was like, this is crazy shit. So then I'm like, well, can I see it? So then they kind of look at each other. There's 6 guys. And I guess they could, it's completely diffused. They're like,
Yeah, okay, come on.
we all go over to the spot. And they're like,
This is
and
it.
it looks, there was some bushes and trees, just off the lot, towards the back, behind some cars. And they had themselves like a little camp out set over there. They had pillows and blankets and they had a little barbecue going. It was the whole thing. It looked like a survivor camp. I was like, this is amazing. And they're like,
Yeah. In fact, all right, come on here. Just, keep yourself quiet, all right? And you can hang out and you can watch.
and I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest, right? They set themselves up again. They got a guy over here with the walkie-talkie. He's over on the other side. They're watching the perimeter. They get completely set back up again. And they let me just hang. It's like a ride along, right? Except stakeout style. Now they're in there shooting the shit with each other, and I'm hearing all kinds of little cop talk, right? Every now and then a little squawk comes in on the radio, and eventually, I don't know how long we're there, probably another hour, but they get another guy, and all of a sudden, they've got, we got action, 10-20, all that chatter, and one of the cops immediately is you could see, sort of regretting that I'm sitting there, right? Because who knows what kind of liability issue this is. But the first thing that this guy does is he goes and squats himself right in front of me, almost like he wants to block anything that I might see or do, right? And he's got his hand up almost over my face. And I'm trying to look around and watch them do their setup. And they get another guy, except the other guy isn't opening the doors, right? So I think the way it ends up going is they don't come guns blazing on this guy. They just approach him, Again, they check his ID, may or may not have been up to something. But, I feel vindicated because I'm like, see, this is how the world works, guys. People shop sometimes at 2 a.m. They do car shopping this way. Why don't you guys get with it? Maybe you need to adjust your little stakeout situation. You ever think of that? So it ends nicely for me. All right. They let me go. No harm done. I got to see cops at work and I go home. And then at breakfast, I think I'm going to tell this story, because I had a really interesting night, Mom and Dad. You won't believe what happened. So I tell this story and Dad is there eating breakfast. And I don't know, at the point that I get to, and I don't, it's like, it's almost embarrassingly stupid, right? I'm telling the story like I'm telling it to you right now. And I think that when I get to the part where there's a gun in my face, that this is going to be like amusing to my father at this moment. Like, so then there's the gun and he takes the fork and knife and he just like slams it down onto the table, gets up and starts like storming around the kitchen. And I don't even know what his problem is, right? When I finally like there's a break in the action for me, here's what he says.
These fucking cops, these sons of bitchin' motherfucking.
I'm going on a Chevy Chase rant about the cops, right? And I'm like, no, you're talking about Mickey and Bobby and Johnny? What are you talking? No, these guys are cool. What are you talking about? These guys are cool. And there's Olga Munoz. Joe, calm down. It's
no,
okay.
I've had it. That's enough. No.
And he goes and he gets the phone. And I'm like, who's he call? What's happening right now? I don't know. Is he going to call our attorney, our family attorney?
We did not have a family attorney.
I have no idea. So they're having their own little tete-a-tete. Put the phone down. And then it's like he realizes that I'm still. And then it turns all that rage onto me.
What the hell were you thinking? What's your problem? What kind of idiot?
So does he ever call the cops?
No, but honestly, I wish he would have, because I don't know what he was going to do. Like, I almost wish that she hadn't slowed him down. Now, it could have been posturing. Because, right, you're not going to, what are you going to just call 911? Yeah, you guys suck! Click. Anyway, then I get a lecture, and it's like just a bunch of platitudes.
Hey, you got to look out for you, all right? So, you can't be out there, all right, with your back to the man. What's the matter with you?
Like, I'm trying to explain how crazy it was, all right? And that then I accuse them of trying to steal my identification and it being an enormous frame-up. Do you understand? I thought I had solved the case, okay? Then come to learn that I was mistaken, that it's actually illegal when a car lot has, closed and put chains up to go onto their property and start nosing around inside their... Did you know that that's not legal? I didn't. Learn something new every day, son of a bitch.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Stories My Brother Used to Tell. This true story was told to you by Eric Delgado. Produced and edited by me, Dan Delgado. Music by Epidemic Sound. If you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, then you can feel free to leave us a nice review wherever you can. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Or better yet, tell someone who might enjoy it. It may or may not help this show get noticed, but it will warm my cold, dead heart. You can also help the show out by buying me and Eric a coffee. Yes, this is really a thing. It's basically a one-time donation. There's a link in the show notes on how to do it, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/theindustry. You can contact me through email if you like. It is dan@moviemaker.com. I am on Twitter at _Dan_Delgado or on Threads at DanDelgado74. That's it for today's story. Coming up next time...
And so what's the thing to do when you hear some kind of rattle or something happening with the car, something that could represent danger? You turn the radio up so that you don't hear it.
That's next time on Stories My Brother Used to Tell. Good night.